Hi, hello and welcome to this video. This is my very first time trying the brand Klarity Cosmetics okay, when I saw this palette, this is Stained Glass, this is their newest release, I was like, you're coming on with me. And the look that you see on my eyes is actually the second look with this palette that you will see. And since Klarity Cosmetics is quite high in shipping, so I paid €50 for shipping. Don't ask me. I decided to get also the Deadly Roses palette because for obvious reasons. And I just realized I could have incorporated this palette in this look too with the greens and that shade. Oh, now I'm a bit sad. But this is Deadly Roses, a beautiful 9-pan palette that mimics the look of roses and the vibe, and really like the look. And Stained Glass, this, well, it is supposed to vibe this here, but honestly, let's look us straight in the eyes and who's not reminded of Christmas here and fall and late fall, you know, the transition time after Thanksgiving when we're starting to get very Christmassy. This is it. So for this video, expect 4 looks. We have 2 looks with this one, including swatches, of course. And then I will be doing also 2 looks plus swatches with this palette. Price wise, this I paid €25 for, and this I paid €30 for, plus taxes, plus shipping costs. I actually paid for both palettes a bit over €100. That's the downside of living in the EU sometimes, because it's quite expensive, but because of all the things with Monolith Shop, I refuse to buy from them. I know they do stock Klarity Cosmetics, so if you live in a European country that is not allowed to import outside EU makeup things, then maybe check out there. I totally understand that, but I myself, I decided for me, I much rather pay €50 for fucking shipping than ever ordering from Monolith Shop again. So, I do not want to spoiler you too much. Just saying that this look here is really nice, and the other one with this palette too. This one, I don't know, because when I filmed this intro, I haven't done the looks. So, without any further rambling and shit, let's head into the looks. So we're starting right away with the Stained Glass one because the Deadly Rose palette is a bit older, but I wanted to incorporate this in that video. But you know, the reason why I ordered from Klarity Cosmetics was actually this palette, but since shipping was so much higher than I expected, I of course picked up another one, but I want to start up with the one that is the most exciting to me. If this palette does not scream, hey, it's fall, it's getting cozy, let's start to decorate for Christmas, let's put up the tree, let's put up the lights, let's go for a walk when it's crispy cold outside. What else will do? This palette this is everything I dream of, and when I got it, I already swatched the shimmers just on my hand. And I'm pretty sure I have to incorporate a bit of different mattes here because only 2 mattes will not do the deal, at least for my style of makeup. But before we do that, of course, it's time to swatch. I did not prepare anything with a swatch sticker today. We're just doing some live swatches. So let's do the first row. This is Window of My Soul. It is a bit domed. I thought for a second that this is one of these weird flaky shimmers where there is like air bubbled inside, but it isn't. It's just domed for whatever reason. Maybe it's filled a bit too much because Klarity thought, hey, Ella loves oil spill shades. I don't know. So then we have Pain in the Glass. Oh, okay. Are they magnetic? Because they are loose. Honestly, I have no clue if they are supposed to be loose or not. And we have Window Pane. So let's do the classic one. Number 1. Oh, the matte. A bit patchy, but doesn't tell the story. You know how it works here. And that gold, that is a greenish old gold with a... I don't want to say that this has a black base because I think this has a blackened green base, in my opinion. It's a bit crumbly, so there are some flakes going on, but look at my middle finger here. There's still a lot of pigment from that matte laugh, but it doesn't get better. But as I said, you know me, I never judge just by swatches because I don't apply my makeup with my fingers. So it does not tell anything aside from just a bit of a glimpse into how the shades are going to look. By the way, that shade here, Pain in the Glass, this is exactly what I wanted the MAC Big Diva Energy Blush to look like. Let me grab it to show you. That's the blush. That's why I bought it. And it does not look like this. It looks like this in the pan, but it goes on like vibrant magenta. So then we have Crystal Clear, Picture Perfect, oh, and Tinted Love. Ooh, 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 ooh. So Crystal Clear. This is greenish yellow shifting to my eyes. Oh, that is, oh boy. Oh, this is definitely going to be incorporated. And Tinted Love. Wow. Also a bit crumbly. I don't know if you were able to see this, but they were like fallen off. But I still have a lot of pigment left on my hands, so I feel like they do not work well with hands, and I feel like they do not stick to my skin. It could be because I just picked up too much, but so you know, I always apply shimmers with a glitter glue, so I don't think that this is going to be a problem for me. But if you are not a glitter girl, a glitter glue girl, this might be something to take into consideration. And my middle finger is green now. Cool, 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 cool. So I just removed the swatches here from my arm and the green is still going strong. I personally don't mind the stain. It doesn't matter for me because it will be away in the next day. You know, when I take off my makeup in the evening and the lid is still stained, usually the next day when I wake up, it's gone. But this is very exciting. So let me pick now a matte palette that I can incorporate because I feel like I I don't see myself doing a look only with these, and I just saw that there is some crumbled away from Window in My Soul. Maybe because of the fact that it is doomed. You know what? Let me take a towel and then repress it a bit in. I, for the sake of my life, cannot explain what just happened. So I just put up a video that I just did with my phone here. I tried to press the shadow back in and it completely like moved away from the center. And all of a sudden I thought, okay, let's just do it like in an overhead style on top of a paper towel, and all the crumbles just fell down from the pan. So I do not want to defend this because I think this is an absolute no-go. But I assume there is too much pigment in that pan, or there was too much pigment, because now, when I do this now, okay, what I then did after the first crumbles came off, I took the palette and I started to tap here on the side, and now when I do this, there are like tiny specks still coming off, but not the big glitter flakes, the big specks. So let me try to press that back in because now I'm I'm a bit sad, honestly. Didn't expect this to happen. So I carefully press that shade now smooth again, and it does not move as bad as it did before. Did I get a dot here in the palette? What a great start for this look. So let me grab now the palette to go with it. I'm using the Victoria Beckham Beauty Smoke Brick in the shade, or in the style Tweed, because it is warm enough to match the vibe, but I will not use that lilac-y shade here. So I'm starting with Caramel, that one as my transition color. And on the same brush, I go into Rust and focus this in the crease. I now tap into Paint in the Glass. And I use this here on the outer V. And of course also in the crease. And I take this through the complete crease. Honestly, I love my cool tone looks, I love my red looks, but there is just something magical about a warm reddish. I mean, it's still reddish, but you know what I mean. So I applied now my glitter glue, and now I go into Window of My Soul, and hopefully it does not crumble any further. No, it's fine. It acts like a regular shadow. It is a bit loose, not gonna lie. But with the glitter glue on the brush, it picks up much easier. And now I start to apply this. I tap this and swipe it actually now all over the lid. And I'm leaving again the most inner part bare because I want to connect that then with the inner corner highlight. I'm not gonna lie, that shade is so loose. I would not recommend traveling with this palette because I feel like it will get smashed, and I'm actually surprised that it came in one piece to my house. But I also have to say that this palette and the other one too, they were wrapped in like this much of bubble wrap on each side. So there was like, I don't know, 2 meters of bubble wrap just wrapped around, and I'm very thankful for that now. I take Paint in the Glass again and just run it through the crease to diffuse the lid a bit. To catch the warm vibe of this eyeshadow look, I'm taking Urban Decay Whiskey Liner and I apply this on the waterline. I then go into Is it, by the way, Pan in the Glass or Pain in the Glass? It's P-A-N-E. What does it even mean?
Pain.
It is pain. Okay. Really confusing when one is called Pain in the Glass with P-A-N-E, and then there is a shade Window Pane, but it's Pain with P-A-I-N. Okay, first world problems here. Okay, but I take that shade and then I smudge it here along the lower lash line, of course. And I tap into Rust from Victoria Beckham and use this to smoke it out. I also go into Caramel again. I just very, very sloppy dust it across this line here. Usually I work with very precise brushes on the lower lash line, but lately I have been loving to just do it kind of sloppy and more like dust it down. Does it make sense? I don't know. Now I go into Crystal Clear. That's also very, very loose. I did barely touch it, and there is a lot of pigment here. And that one I apply as inner corner highlight, and I'm also connecting it with the lid here, and then I just dust it on top of that other shade so that we have a, I don't want to say it, but we have a gradient going on. And this is now the first finished look. I do like this look a lot. The finished result actually makes me forgive that accident that happened with this Window to My Soul shade, and I just hope now that the other two shimmers are not like that. So let's head over to look. Oh, no. Forgot to tell you the lip combo. I used Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude Lip Liner, and then I filled my lips in with Lisa Aldridge Velvet Mousse. But now let's do look number 2 with the Stained Glass palette. In the second look with Stained Glass, I will be focusing here on these 3 shades. And I had a really hard time choosing what other palette to pull in because my mind just is stuck on the idea that this is a Christmas vibe. So I pull in the ColourPop Rudolph palette because this is a Christmas palette, and it's July when I'm filming this, still July. You see this in the beginning of August, but here it's always Christmas, always. So I'm starting with Eat Eat, and I use this as classic transition color. Oh, and please ignore my eye. I of course have a sty here on the inside because of all the ACs that are on here, and I then accidentally rubbed my eye cream into my eye, and now it's constantly watering and burning. Now go into Picture Perfect from the stained glass one, and I apply this directly here in the outer part, and then I carefully try to swoop it through the crease. This shade is intense, like everything, like it just vanished what I applied underneath. So I went back into Eat Eat and I just applied this here on the outer parts to have a bit more of a seamless blend. I feel like this is a bit too green. I mean, obviously, but I want to tap with a small brush into Paint in the Glass. I just want to add a bit more dimension to this. Just go on the outer V part and the outer crease. It's not much, but it is a tad bit of a difference. So glitter glue is on, and I first go into Tinted Love. Tap this here on top of the green outer parts and up to the center. And then I of course go into Window Pane. Ooh, that's as dry like Window to My Soul. Okay, weird. And that one I tap on the rest of the lid. And where it meets the green, I start to slightly tap in the same spot, but I will go over that with the green in a second. So I tap back into green, and now I just tap with both sides of the brush on that line so that they mix basically. Although I'm wearing glitter glue, there is a lot of fallout, specifically from that golden shade actually. I would love to apply some eyeliner on the waterline, but because of the sty and my eye is still burning, I have to actually skip it. So I go into Picture Perfect again, and I just smudge this here on the lower lash line. And then I use Eat Eat again from the Colourpop Rudolph, and I just diffuse it with this shade a bit better. For inner corner highlight, I stick in the stained glass and I use Crystal Clear again and just dab it on the inner corners, and then I just bring it on the lower lash line a bit and a tad bit, as per usual, in the crease. I think I haven't said this combo of words in a long time. And this is now the finished look. I felt a bit festive, and I also applied on the lower lashes a top coat mascara, the Rabanne Glitter Top Coat. It's not really visible in normal light, but in like low light situations, which of course I will be getting into the office. No, I'm not, just kidding. But I kind of felt it, so I applied it. On the lips, I'm wearing the Lisa Eldridge Sculpt and Shape Pencil in 0N. Wait, I always forget how they are called. Sculpt and Shade, not Shape. Sculpt and Shade Pencil in 0N. And then I filled in my lips with the Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Baby Kissing Lipstick. I think I'm one of the 3 persons in this planet that actually likes this one, although it feels a bit gritty because of the glitter. I don't mind that feeling because I really like the shade. Of course, for demo purposes, I now use this in a very specific way, but I also think that you can, of course, cross pair these shades. Like, just apply Paint in the Glass on the lids and then add the green or add the gold one, or maybe even just apply Crystal Clear all over the lid and then take something else to just give it a good blend, or take your bronzer or something like that. First impression from these 2 looks, I am not a big fan of the shades Window to My Soul and Window Pane. I love the colors, beautiful colors, but I don't like the texture so much. So I'm really curious how the texture in the Deadly Roses is going to be, because I got a few messages on Instagram that this is in a newer formulation and the older one that, for example, is in Deadly Roses is not good. But I will see. To give it my normal rating, Personal Excitement honestly is a 9 out of 10 because I'm really excited when I look at this palette. Color Story, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I see why we have these dark mattes in here, and I think they're nice. Honestly, I think it's a shade Crystal Clear that bothers me a bit, because the shift into the yellow gold is just a tad bit too much. If that would have been more of a champagne shift, I think that would be a bit better. But I also see how the shade should fit every single one of these, and it definitely does fit these two, not so much this one. Quality, quality, yeah. Quality, it's very hard to rate in my opinion, because of that thing that happened with this shade, the way this feels. These two are fine. Tinted Love is even like a velvet. It's, when I had it on my brush, I even felt a bit uncomfortable looking at it, because it looked borderline hairy. Like, you know, the velvet hairy packaging, for example, that Modern Renaissance had, or OG Urban Decay. This is how it looks on the brush, but it does not feel like this. But it made me a bit uncomfortable because of the texture, but very, very beautiful shades. So, you know what? Quality-wise, I give it a, just comparing it in my head with other things, but honestly I'd say a 7.5 out of 10. Not the best, not good, leaning to more average quality, but for the price I actually expected a bit more, because this is 25 euro. So no, I keep with a 7.5 for now. Let's see how it changes when we are done with Deadly Roses. So now let's head over to the first demo with Deadly Roses. Let's peek now into the Deadly Roses. This is a 9 pan, and it is a, well, rose that gothic color story in my opinion. So let's do some swatches first. So we have Lonely Petal, very, very muted, I don't know, like ashy color. Poisonous Kiss, feels quite creamy though. And Love Trap. In the second row we have Head Over Heels. Well, that's surprisingly warm. Dead Ringer and He Loves Me Not. Dead Ringer is a bit patchy, but you know me, doesn't say anything. And in the last row we have Wilted Rose. Not as shimmery as I thought it is. My Love Stems Deep, a dirty green. And Once and For All. Ugh. Okay. Once and For All has absolutely no binding component. This is definitely just a pressed glitter shimmer thing, but loose. It looks pretty here on the fingers, so I guess with glitter glue that works. So I would even apply glitter glue for the inner corner when I use the shade. But here you have the swatches. I like the color story a lot, so let's head over to the look. I have no specific look in mind, so I just let it roll, and I start with Lonely Petal and apply this at first in the transition area. I now go into Dead Ringer directly, and I start to blend this here in the inner crease part, and then I just kind of soften it outwards in the crease. But I want to have the most pigment here. I now go into Love Trap, and that one I now apply on the outer crease, and I bring it on top of the red. And I try to build up that shade, but I feel like this is the darkest that I can get with this. I wish this was a bit darker. I now go into He Loves Me Not. And of course I did apply my glitter glue. And that one I apply here on the outer lid. And I apply it up to the point where the red crease starts. I know, very, very weird technique today. Honestly, I'm a bit disappointed that once again the red turns more into a pink on the eye. I now go into Poisonous Kiss. I apply this on the rest of the lid, and then I mix them both here in the center. This look definitely needs some liner, and I'm going in with the Colourpop Cream BFF liner. I'm so tired of saying this name, but this is the shade Swerve, and this is just the black. And I do line actually the upper waterline with that, although I do still have a sty on the other eye, but I have to go through that now. I have to take it for the team. And I also apply this on the lower waterline. On the lower waterline, I apply a bit too much so that I have some of the black to just smudge out now. And that is what I do with a clean brush first, so no eyeshadow on it. I just smudge that cream liner a bit. And with that same brush that still has some black on it, I now go into that ringer again. And I smudge this kind of on top, but a bit lower. Because I still want to have a black definition here. Otherwise, this would look very, very quick, like a sick eye. We talked about this already. When you use red eyeshadow, red liner or something, you need some kind of contrast to just not make you look sick. With a pencil brush, I go into Love Trap again. And I use this even below both shades to just smudge it. Maybe I should have done it this way in the inner part so that it does not turn pink, because here it's not really turning pink. Cannot tell you how annoyed I am by the pink hue that is going on here. And since I know that Once and For All kind of is lacking the binding component, I applied now glitter glue on the inner corner part, and I still have glitter glue as per usual on the brush. And now I pick it up from the pan and it sticks to the brush very nicely. And then I just dab it on here on both inner corners, and then I just distribute it a tad bit. I actually hate applying glitter glue in the inner corner because I like to just feather out my inner corner highlight a bit more. But with glitter glue, this is not possible. And this is now the first finished look. On the lips, I used the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Fair Lip Liner, and I wanted to do a nude grayish lip, but then I decided to just top it with the Givenchy Rouge Interdit in the shade 10. If you don't know, it's the black pH one that I actually have in my focus box, and I kind of want to see how much I can use up in 3 months. Who knows? So the overall result of this look, I like. I am still mad for that inner corner or like inner crease blend because it just turned so pink. I don't know. I mean, the look itself is beautiful. So far from a first impression standpoint, and I'm curious how that will change in the next look. I think it's a good palette. It's more so mediocre, and I think my main problem is just the fact that the red turned into such a weird shade. So before I do like a final review, let's head over to look number 2. So for look number 2, I'm starting right with my Love Stems Deep. And I apply this through the crease one completely around the eye. Did this sentence make sense? Probably not, but I'm tired. I now go into Love Trap and apply this here on that border. Since in the first look you saw the red turn so pink, I'm trying to do it a bit different than usual. I also go into Lonely Petal and I buff this on top. I now go into Head Over Heels and place this on the outer part of the lid. But I bring it up to the center, and then I go into Wilted Rose. And that one goes on the rest of the lid. And where both meet, I just tap on top. I think Urban Decay 24/7 liner in Mildew is really matching this look because it is a dirty like army green, and it can match that warmish vibe that we have going on. I hope so at least. So I line my waterline with that. And now I go into my Love Stems Deep and I start to smudge this on the lower lash line. But I leave the inner part bare. I want to do something different here. I go into Love Trap again and I use this a tad bit underneath that green and smudge it out and a bit inwards, so that I basically have Love Trap here on that bare part. Now I'm going in with that ringer and I start to apply this on that inner lower lash line part and flick it outwards on top of the green. And I also apply this on the inner corner area. For inner corner highlight, I go into Once and For All, but I do not apply glitter glue this time. I just tap in here and then I spray the brush with some Fix Plus. And I tap it on in a very small area. I do not want to cover the red completely. I want to give it just a sheen. So no matter if you use Fix Plus or glitter glue, it works both, and I don't think there's a big of a difference. If you use a glitter glue underneath once and for all, it definitely is more opaque and not as easy to control, in my opinion, because it sticks then to the skin. With Fix Plus, you are just binding the pigments and you're just adding that missing component, and it makes it a bit more manageable, in my opinion. And this is now the second finished look. For the lips, I used the Sephora Lip Stain Liner in the shade Pink Tea, and I filled the lips in with the Hourglass Phantom Glossy Balm in the shade 100 Rise. I really like this look, and I think this is a really good palette, because if you are maybe somebody who likes to just dance between looks like this or the one before that, and also some neutrals, I think with that 9-pan palette you get a surprisingly high amount of variation, because nobody is forcing you to incorporate the red or the green. Just because they are so prominent here in the palette does not mean you have to use them. You can create beautiful looks with Lonely Petal, Poisonous Kiss, and Love Trap. Bam, neutral. Or just Love Trap and Head Over Heels. Bam, neutral. Or Once and For all over the lid, a bit softened with Lonely Petal. Boom, neutral. Or you can add a red or the green, or one of those shimmers as a pop of color. It works. I'm honestly a bit surprised on how much variety this palette can offer you. Quality wise, hard, because I think the quality between this one and Stained Glass, that according to some messages that I got, should be different. I don't think it is. Is this a reformulated version? I have no clue. I just saw it and then I remembered when I was on the website that I initially wanted to have this because I really, really like this color story in here. But I think quality-wise, they are very, very similar. So I'd say quality in general of Klarity Cosmetics, I'd settle at around a 7.5. It is definitely nothing that will blow your mind. It is nothing that will make you go like, oh my God. It's not an Arimi, It's not Blend Bunny, But I think it is better, for example, than, and I know that sounds like a very, very wild comparison, but I think it is better as, for example, a Makeup by Mario Master Mattes Neutral palette, or the Master Mattes, is it neutral? The latest one that came out, the one that is also not very good. I think it's better than your average Huda, for example. I think it's when we look into indie brands, I like this more than, I don't know. Shimmer-wise, I would say I like this more than, for example, Glam Shop PL, because they're like very flaky and there's a lot of binding component in them. They're like goopy, sort of. Matte-wise, I would say I like this more than, for example, What's Up Beauty. I think What's Up Beauty has a very beautiful formulation in the mattes, but these are more pigmented and intense. So I don't want to say like this is better or like worse than another brand. It depends on what do you want. Both of these palettes, when it comes to the mattes, swatch horrible. Like, they're not good, but they apply very, very good. As you saw in the demos, I had no problems with the blending. I had a bit of a problem here with the red, but when I just now look back at the footage, when I edited it, I think the main problem is because of Love Petal. Love Petal is kind of a shade that helps you to manipulate the color. It's not only there for blending out and for softening any edges or so, it's more so a manipulation color. Sometimes when you have palettes with white, you use that white not to soften blinds, you use that white to manipulate colors. And Love Petal has the same capabilities as a white, so really nice. Personally, I wish actually that instead of Love Petal, for example, this palette would have gotten a black, because I wish more depth. Not gonna lie, I know, look at me, it's a very deep look. but I think a black could have nailed the theming a bit better. I am very happy with my choice of palettes, and if you'd ask me now, okay, it's Deadly Roses or Stained Glass, which one should I get? I'd say get Stained Glass, maybe. I think this is, although it's just a 6-pan palette, a tad bit more versatile, because I feel like these two mattes, although they, again, swatch in my opinion, not that good. While that one here, the greenish tealy one, that swatched very well. But both of them are pigmented enough, but also able to be blended away, you know? I saw it when I used that Paint in the Glass shade. All the transition colors, or one or two that I applied before that, not necessary. I probably would have been able to apply this as I did today with the green from Deadly Roses, to just apply it in the crease and then just blend it out with a clean brush. That would have worked too. I think it's not a secret when I tell you, or that it's hard for me to just be like, oh my god, this is the best brand ever. It's not. I have a really hard time to form a proper opinion on where I want to rank these palettes. In my collection, when I look here at the shelf, it's definitely more so in the upper middle part. If you ask me which one, as I said, I'd say go with the Stained Glass. Could be because I'm a bit biased by that whole vibe that I get from this palette. 100%. Deadly Roses, yes, is a color story that I do have a couple times because, you know, reds and goth and shit. Stained Glass is a bit more special in my opinion. The composition here is nice. It's a good companion palette. I think let alone you will not be happy for very, very long, because the variation here is just very limited, while in Deadly Rose, as said, you have a bit more variety. I honestly don't know what I expected for myself, how I want to end the video. Not gonna lie, I like the looks. I really do. All four looks are very, very pretty. If I had to rank them though, the first look that I did with Stained Glass is definitely my favorite, but that is mainly because of this shade here, Window to My Soul. I loved just these oil spilly shades. And on second place, I actually say this look is it. You know me, I hate dirty greens, like greens in general. I'm not the green eyeshadow wearer, but the amount of dirtiness in this green is really nice. I do dig this. And I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that you combine this more dirty vibe with cool tones. That just works for me. Let me end the video on this note. I am about to film my palette declutter. So when you see this video, I have filmed the declutter already, and I think it will go up either that week, here you see the video, or next week, but I'm quite sure it's the week after that. They will survive the declutter. Let me just say it like that. I like them enough to further keep them, and I am excited enough actually to have them in my collection, not only for comparison purposes, but for using it for looks again. I see actually myself using Stained Glass more than Deadly Roses. Surprising, I know. But now let's end the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about the palettes and the looks. And if you do not have an opinion, but you do want to push the algorithm, then comment Stained Glass. Thank you so much. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.